What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I'm your host, AC the Engineer, and it's time for the greatest afternoon show in the world, y'all. You ain't got to believe it, but I believe it. That's all that matters. But welcome back. It is Monday, August 24th, 2026, year of our Lord, and it's time to get into it. Now, you know how I like to do. Let's jump right into it and see what we got to talk about today. So the first topic we're getting over to today is a shocking development. Is we have the former police officer, murderer of Sonia Massey, and convicted murderer Sean Greyson. Yes, convicted murderer Sean Greyson has died in prison. Now, this comes 1 month after he just tried to get a medical release from prison due to terminal cancer. So let's get over into this and see what we can figure out. But let's do a little background first so we can just bring it up and remember everything. So let's get over into it, y'all.
All right, we have some breaking news for you. A sentencing just wrapped up for the former sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a woman in her Springfield, Illinois home after she called 911 for help. Sean Greyson, he was convicted of second-degree murder last October for the 2024 shooting of Sonia Massey. CBS News reporter Karen Waugh joins us from the courthouse in Springfield, Illinois. Karen, what can you tell us? How many years was he sentenced?
Yeah, Mugo, it was certainly an emotional morning in court. They spent an hour in there deliberating during that time, and ultimately the judge handed down a sentence of about 20 years in prison plus 2 years mandatory supervised release. We are about to hear from the family who definitely showed an outpouring of emotion. We heard sniffles and tears. They're expected to address us pretty soon in here. But Sean Greyson right now is 31 years old. If he were to serve that entire sentence, he would be about 51 by the time he is to get out. He is eligible for parole, though, so that could also cut his time in prison short.
Now let's. This happened 6 months ago, where he was sentenced to 20 years. But a month ago, let's go over to the next video. He asked for medical release.
We start today with continuing coverage ahead of another hearing for Sean Greyson. He's the Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy who shot and killed Sonia Massey 2 years ago. He's once again trying to have his 20-year sentence reduced. Whether that happens or not will be decided tomorrow morning. His appeal in May was a standard appeal in front of a judge in Sangamon County. Tomorrow's hearing, on the other hand, will be in front of the state's Prisoner Review Board. Greyson will be seeking an early release from prison for medical reasons. During Greyson's sentencing in January, his attorneys said he was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2023. That's progressed to stage 4 and spread to other parts of his body, including his liver and lungs. The Prisoner Review Board says Greyson applied for a petition of release back in May. As for how that works, the board says a 3-person panel will review his application. They'll discuss it privately before they vote on his release at the public hearing. If Greyson's petition is granted, the board says he'll get a 5-year mandatory supervised release term. But data shows these appeals aren't always very successful. Since 2022, 70% of medical release applications were turned down. Since March of this year, that number has gone up to 80%. 12 people have been granted, 12 denied. We'll have a reporter at his hearing tomorrow morning, and we're going to keep you updated on air and online as soon as we find out whether or not Greyson's sentence will be reduced.
Now, this was a month ago, y'all. And most recently, he has died in prison. Now, they haven't officially announced the reason for his death, but a lot of people are believing it's the terminal cancer that he has. So let's get over into that little quick video.
Former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Greyson has died in prison. We learned this news earlier today. He was convicted of killing Sonia Massey in her home in 2024. His attorney confirmed his death late this afternoon. Just weeks ago, Greyson was denied medical release from his 20-year prison sentence, citing his stage 4 colon cancer diagnosis. The cause of his death remains unclear. Greyson was 32 years old.
Yes, so the cause remains unclear. So let's get over into the AI breakdown, y'all, just to see what else it tells us and see if it tells us anything else. So as we know, Sean Greyson, 32, the former Illinois Sheriff's deputy convicted of murdering Sonia Massey, died in prison on Sunday, August 23rd, 2026. His defense attorney confirmed his death. While the official cause of death was not immediately disclosed, he has been undergoing treatment for an advanced stage 4 colon cancer. So as we know about the murder, it happened back in July 2024 where he fatally shot 36-year-old Sonya Massey. She ended up calling 911 for a suspected intruder. During the encounter, she was shot by Greyson. So last month, a month prior to his death, in a July 2026, the Illinois Prison Review Board rejected Greyson's petition for early medical release. Greyson had requested release under the state Joe Coleman Medical Release Act, citing his terminal cancer. The petition was strongly opposed by prosecutors and the family, who argued that the earlier release would bring insult to her memory. Now, what are your thoughts, y'all? Do you think he should have been released? Now, I don't think there's any... Is it too much of a different amount of care he could receive from outside the prison than versus in? I'm assuming, of course, you're going to be limited to the prison staff, but is the care that substantial? So following the news of his death, the civil rights attorney Ben Crump, of course, and attorney Antonio released a statement on behalf of the Massey family. They noted that Greyson's death in custody from cancer does not bring Sonya back, while offering their prayers of peace to the Greyson grieving family. So like they said, no, it has not been confirmed. While his defense attorney confirmed his death, they have not disclosed the specific cause. The Illinois Department of Correction confirmed his passing, but has declined to provide any further details on it. So it is a matter of public record from the court and the prison review proceedings that Greyson was battling advanced stage 4 colon cancer that had spread to his liver, lungs, and rectum. Ooh. Attorney Ben Crump and Antonio issued a statement. We already talked about that. So now we just got to wait. But a lot of people, some people are saying that he should have been released. He might have had a better fighting chance. But what are your thoughts? And how do you feel about it? Some people are feeling sorry for him. Some people, God does what God does. But a lot of people, but this is the topics that everybody's talking about, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. And let me know if you disagree with anything I said. We weren't expecting him to pass. I, for one, didn't even keep up with that he had a terminal cancer. But is terminal cancer enough for you to, should that be enough for you to get out? Or did they do the right thing and denied his request? I didn't even know the stats. About 80% or 70% of the medical releases are usually denied. What has to be going wrong for them to actually approve that in the first place? Well, it's a topic we had to talk about, y'all, but let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy topic, but this is the type of stuff we got to look at. We're going to pivot now into our next topic we're going to be discussing today, and we got to go back over to a crazy case we talked about a while ago, and that is the Sider family. Now, if y'all don't remember, there was 16 children found in this horrible home who were held in a 12 by 12 room for years. And the mother, father, and grandparents have all been charged. But we're finding out more details about this, and we're also finding out more details on the reason they were investigated in the first place, and it has something to do with these two men who were, I don't know, friends with the father or something like that. But let's get over into it and see what we can find out and what new information this brings. So let's jump over into it. Let's get into it.
A grand jury indicted 4 members of the Siders family in the Vinton County child endangerment case nearly 2 months now after authorities say they found 16 children living in what they called deplorable conditions inside a Hamden home. 2 family members, Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders, were also indicted on charges of sexual battery and unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. We have been following this case since June 30th, when law enforcement removed those 16 children from that home on Omer Street.
But tonight we learn that child endangerment investigation is actually the third of 3 separate investigations. 10 TV's Libby Cathy is joining us in studio tonight to walk us through the new details. Libby?
That's right, Yolanda, Jeff. We learned today what initially led authorities to the Siders' home where they discovered those 16 children. It was a separate child sexual abuse investigation, one initially involving 2 children and 2 South Bloomingville men, according to authorities. That's 23-year-old Josh Saunders, you see him on your screen, charged with rape and gross sexual imposition, and 40-year-old Brandon Henderson Sr., indicted on 21 charges, including endangering children and sexual battery. These men were arrested today. And that investigation led authorities to Elizabeth and Gary Siders Jr., and separate allegations that the couple sexually abused a minor in 2022.
Okay, now we're getting more details on it. Now remember, they weren't originally going for the family in the first place. They just happened to be there trying to get some DNA information, and they discovered this horrible scene. But for both the mother and father to be investigating in a sexual act with a child. Now, a lot of people were saying that Elizabeth is a victim in herself, but how much of a victim can you truly be if you're assaulting minors? Let's keep going into this.
We're told that minor was not a member of their immediate family. Authorities were acting on that sexual abuse investigation on June 30th, there to collect Gary Siders Jr.'s DNA when they discovered the 16 children, sparking the child endangering investigation.
These cases began as an investigation into family child sex abuse. Law enforcement sought the DNA of Gary Siders Jr. related to the child sex abuse case. Once Siders Jr. was located, search warrants were executed to secure his DNA for genetic testing. Upon serving the search warrants for the child sex abuse case, the existence and condition of the 16 children at the Omer Street house became known.
Now, y'all heard that, right? They said that it wasn't the immediate family, but it was something in the family. It was someone in the family that they were accused of abusing.
So now all 4 Siders adults have been indicted on child endangering charges, and Gary Siders Jr. and Elizabeth Siders are also facing those additional sex crime charges for abuse of a minor that, again, was not one of their children. So we reached out to the Siders defense attorneys about this, and attorney for Gary Siders Sr. sent us a statement saying, in part, they are still in the beginning stages of this case, and discovery has not been received by the defense. He went on to say that defendants are presumed innocent unless proven guilty. Now, I went down to South Bloomingville today. No one I spoke to recognized Saunders or Henderson, but we are keeping in touch with residents there and staying on this story. Jeff, Yolanda.
Libby, thanks for that update. Certainly a lot more to talk about in this case. You can read all about it.
It's a crazy thing, y'all. Let's get over into this next video and just see what else it tells us about the 2 people who were arrested.
2 men, prosecutors say, helped spark the investigation into the Siders family were in court today. Brandon Henderson Sr. and Josh Saunders are now facing charges in a child sex abuse case. The Ohio Attorney General's office says the investigation is live in Vinton County. Kristen, what do we know about the relationship between these men?
Hold on. Sorry about this, y'all. Hold on for a second.